Okay, so our next unit is on Nazi Germany, and to be able to understand that, we need to firstly know how did the Nazis rise to power in 1933? Why 1933? Well, that's the year when the Nazis took control of Germany. And who are the Nazis? Well, the Nazis are the political party that was controlled by Adolf Hitler, and we're going to find out more about them and how they became the most powerful political group in Germany in 1933. I keep using this word politics, and that means to do with how a country is governed. So the Nazis took control of Germany and they were in charge of governing it, which means ruling it. So how did they get to be in that position that they were ruling Germany by 1933? First thing we need to do is go back a little in time. We need to go back to World War One, which of course we studied earlier in the year. World War One, I really hope you know, was between 1914 and 1918. The war was a disaster for everyone, but Germany lost the war, of course, with their allies, and they were left in a terrible, terrible condition, which is what this picture shows, ashes, because economically, which is to do with money, Germany was in an absolute crisis. They spent so much money fighting this war, and now the people were left in desperate poverty. However, incredibly, after a few years of terrible, terrible suffering, by 1924, so that is 6 years after the war was over, Germany began to recover. This picture shows a phoenix rising from the ashes, which is a powerful story, and it's the story of how things can get better after they are terrible. Story may be useful for our times as well. And in Germany, after World War One, 6 years after suffering so much in World War One, things began to improve. And they improved because of this. You can see on the left-hand side a picture of a dollar sign. Things improved in Germany because America gave Germany huge amounts of money, and they gave that in the form of loans. A loan is when I give you money and expect you to give it back. Germany was lent billions of dollars, and they used that money to help to improve their economy. So what did they do with the money? Well, firstly, they found jobs for people by opening new factories, which was great because it meant that more and more people could work, and of course they were happier. Also, this money was used to give opportunities to women. So women had more opportunities to do jobs. The picture in the middle shows women at a cafe. Women had far more freedom than before. So you can see some of these women are having a much more wild time than they ever would have done before. And actually, to be honest, many women have now. So there is a woman dressed up as a man. There are women who are dancing with each other. They're having quite a wild time because women had much more freedom than they did before, and to be honest, than many women have now. Also, the money was used to improve the arts and culture in Germany. So money was used to start to make more films. Germany was like Hollywood, which is obviously in America, makes films now, but Germany was as important as Hollywood in the 1920s during this period. And this period is called the Golden Age, and it's the period from 1924 until 1928 in Germany, when there was more jobs, when women had more freedom, and when there was these improvements in arts and cultures with lots of films being made, for example. Now, whatever happens in a country, some people are not going to be happy with it. And the people in Germany who were not happy, even during this golden time when there were more jobs, were one group was called the communists. Communists are people that want the workers to be in power, and they were unhappy because Germany was a democracy. We know that from our last unit. Democracy is where the people choose their leaders, but it's not a system in which the workers are in charge. And that's what the communists wanted. Also, some people were unhappy because they wanted Germany to be a powerful nation. That's what the picture on the right shows. That's the Germany flag. They wanted Germany to be powerful, just like it had been or trying to be during World War One. They wanted Germany to be building an empire, becoming more powerful. They didn't want Germany to be taking money from America and to be thinking about giving women more freedom. That's not what some people wanted. Now, the most famous of these groups of nationalists who wanted a powerful nation were the Nazis, the Nazi Party. And the leader of the Nazi Party was, of course, Adolf Hitler. And Adolf Hitler, he went to beer halls, which are pubs, up and down Germany, and he gave speeches saying about how terrible life was in Germany and about how he would be able to make it better by making Germany strong again. Most people ignored him during this good time for Germany, the Golden Age, but some people were interested in his ideas because they wanted Germany to be strong and they were not happy with the way Germany was going. Germany was actually doing fine, and most people were pretty happy until 1929. And in 1929, there was what is called the Great Depression. And the Great Depression started in America, and it was an economic crisis, so a huge economic problem in America, where lots of people lost their jobs because of problems with their economy. And when the problem started in America, then because Germany had these loans from America, Germany started to suffer terrible problems too, because Germany had to pay back money to America, and then their own economy began to collapse. And as a result, lots of people lost their jobs, became unemployed, and people became very unhappy with their leaders. Now, as a result of that, more and more people began to turn to political parties like the Nazis, because Hitler had been saying for years and years that he would make Germany strong again, and people began to listen to that and think, oh wow, maybe Adolf Hitler, you can see in this picture in the middle, maybe he can make the country strong again. He had his own private army, these are men in his private army called the Brown Shirts. People thought maybe this is a man that can turn Germany around. And as a result of that, more and more people voted for the Nazis and Adolf Hitler. And in 1933, the Nazis were so powerful in Germany that they were able to take control of the country. And as soon as they did, they ended democracy. So they ended people's right to choose their leaders, and they turned Germany into a dictatorship, which means that there is only one party and person in power. The party was the Nazi Party, and the person was, of course, Hitler.